Hey, welcome to the Overshare Pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I'm the host of this one-man show, coming to you every Monday, 6 a.m. UK time. And happy Oscars night slash eve for us in the UK, I guess. I know it's gonna happen tonight in the US, but in the UK, did I say US or UK? Anyways, in the US, it's gonna happen this coming evening, but for us in the UK, it's gonna be probably in the very early morning tomorrow. Either way, I mean, best believe I'll be tuned in, and I might be discussing the wins. May or may not, depending on how the night goes, on if there's anything crazy happening. I mean, the predictions at the moment are Michael B. Jordan winning Best Male Actor and Jessie Buckley winning Best Female Actress, Best Actor, Best Actress, yeah. So yeah, if there is anything different happening, or if there's any shocking moment or anything, I will probably cover it. But for now, I still want to be in the movie space in this episode and discuss two movies that I watched literally these past 2 days. One today, I watched it today, and one yesterday. I watched Hoppers yesterday, and today I watched Reminders of Him. Now, wildly different movies, of course, but I did want to share my thoughts about both of them, because also I feel there's not much going on at the moment. There's a lot of anticipation about different things, many different things that are gonna happen soon-ish. I'm talking about a possible Spider-Man trailer coming out, as far as I know, like either streets are saying as early as tonight or tomorrow or like this coming week. Then possibly also a June 3 teaser also happening this coming week. And then we've been having Olivia Rodrigo starting her promotional journey for the upcoming third studio album. She's been repainting a wall in in LA, I think it is, yeah, every single day, changing shade, going lighter and lighter until I think the plan is that she's going to transition to pink, which is going to be the official color for the new album. We shall see. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are being teased at the moment that we cannot discuss as much because there's very little information about all of them. So I presume there will be more to talk about by the end of this coming week. So yeah, interesting. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so I wanted to like discuss these two movies because I do think they're both worthy to talk about by very different points of view, I guess, for very different reasons. So I want to start off with a good note, I guess, with Hoppers. This is also one of the better performing movies from Pixar in recent history. Actually, I think it grossed $88 million on the opening weekend last weekend, which hasn't happened in that range, I guess, since Coco, if I'm right. So it seems like Pixar is getting back into its motion, which is very interesting, very good to see. And so that when that news came out, I was like, oh my god, then I actually need to check this out, because I do love a Pixar movie. I do think the most recent Pixar movies have not been as well. I did like Soul quite a lot. That was actually really, really good. I did enjoy that quite a bit. I did think Elio was okay as well. But yeah, I mean, this racking up all this money is like actually quite insane for Pixar after the tough time they've had. It seems like Disney is getting back into its mojo, and I'm really happy to see that. Because I do love a lot of Disney content. Disney as in like the bigger corporations, so like Pixar, Fox, Marvel, and all that stuff. So yeah, and it seems like they have some few hits in their repertoire for this year as well, including Spider-Man, of course, and the Avengers. Yeah, so I went to watch it, and I was like, I knew very little. I did know about the mind transferring situation, people saying that that it is sort of like Avatar, the aliens. Oh, Avatar, of course, not the Airbender. But like Pixar version, and human slash animals version. And to my surprise, they actually do reference straight up Avatar in the actual movie. Like literally when they talk about hopping, that's what they call it, like transferring a human's brain into like a robot that is supposed to be an exact replica of an animal to infiltrate the animal kingdom, basically. Literally, the protagonist does, Mabel, I think her name is, does actually reference Avatar, which is very good to see because, of course, Avatar is under the Disney empire at the moment. So there's not going to be any legal fight there about the mention of the name. So yeah, I mean, I only knew that, and to my discovery, the movie is very, very similar to that. Very similar to Avatar in terms of concept and message in a way. I mean, there's also other things here about like rage management, especially as a kid and as a teenager, and fighting for what you think is right and fighting against the system. But there's also other things like that are very similar to Avatar, as in like, you know, rejecting the people that you're quote unquote supposed to belong to in favor of a community, in this case animals, that really need help. And that's what the protagonist does. She hops into a beaver's body, robotic beaver, of course, not an actual beaver, but she infiltrates the local population of mammals, and all in the hopes of protecting this specific reservoir where the protagonist and her grandma used to spend a lot of time together, and where she has a lot of fond memories, which is also, by the way, in danger of being completely wiped out because of a construction project for a highway approved and pushed by the mayor of the city. So because no one wants to listen to her, of course, as a human, and she tries to like get signatures and all that stuff, and the wildlife in that area has completely disappeared for mysterious reasons and all this stuff. She cannot convince the mayor to not destroy the pond, the reservoir that she really cares about so much. So yeah, so she infiltrates the animals, and she, by many series of events, she inspires them. Let's just say she incites them to fight against humans and to reclaim their space at her own detriment, because she does actually make things way worse. But it has a lot of, like, you know, parallels with Avatar, as you can see. Like there's a lot there, like, you know, environmentalism as well, and protecting nature and all that stuff. And, you know, it was in that sense quite enjoyable. And I think sometimes it's a bit too similar to Avatar, but there is, of course, a lot of new other elements, like, you know, the relationship with her grandma, and there's always that Pixar emotional manipulation. Like, why do they always have to put an old lady or a grandpa or anyone, like, that makes you feel really sad and really, you know, like they know how to get to you. But, you know, it wouldn't be Pixar if they didn't do that. I guess it's their signature move. They emotionally manipulate the crap out of the viewers. But the movie overall, I think, is great. I guess you have to see for yourself how the movie develops and what exactly Mabel does, and if she, like, how the movie, you know, where it leads, and what exactly she does, and how exactly things get out of hand, and where does it end? Does she manage to save the pond? Does she manage to save the reservoir? I'll leave it up to you guys to go and watch it if you want. But what I do say, I think, is that I did think that the first half of the movie was quite I cannot put my finger exactly on what made the pace slower and less interesting than the other half. The second half of the movie just is on all cylinders, is really, really good, and it really works well. But I don't know why the first half I found myself thinking, like, what's going on? Like, why am I not that interested in this part? There's just something, you know, And also, hot take: the animation looks. Oh, I've seen better. Let's just say I've seen better Pixar animated movies. I know everyone raves about it. The animation in this movie, I thought it was not as special as the other ones. That's my hot take. Maybe I'm incorrect, and I think what really also made it worse is that I think they recently put out I think it was an animated pitch for this movie specifically that was made something like 8 years ago or something like that. That was fully 2D and very similar to like the Studio Ghibli animation style, which looked incredible. I was like, why wasn't this greenlit in this way? It looked so good. I'm not kidding. It looked incredible, so good. Anyways, that was those two are some of the minor quibbles that I have. But I do think there's a lot more in this movie that makes it stand out from other Pixar movies. The comical elements in this movie are a bit more highbrow here, a little more adult, which is very interesting. I mean, Pixar is technically always going to be animation for adults. I know, like, they have a lot of young fans, of course, but there's a lot in this movie specifically that is extremely adult. And I will not ruin it for you, but you will have to see it for yourself. I'm not simply talking about, innuendos, of course, but there's also actual stuff that happens in this movie that I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe you actually did that. So yeah, they take some risks in this movie, which is very interesting to me, and I do think makes the movie a bit more special and unique, which works. And yeah, I think there is also a lesson to be learned in this movie, and that's the best part about the Pixar movies, is that there's always some sort of message. I don't know if the message is as strong as the other Pixar movies. I wouldn't say it's as quite as strong as the other ones. I mean, apart from, of course, respect the environment, that's the basis. But there is sometimes the behavior of the main protagonist is like sometimes she operates in sort of like a gray area that I'm like, but I wouldn't say necessarily she needs to learn anything specific. Yes, she needs to like maybe sometimes calm down a bit more, but I think she acts always in the best intentions, and she's always motivated by the right things, and I think it's just a system that is quite fucked up. So you'll see for yourself. But I do think I did give it on my I did. This made me start my Letterboxd journey, I guess, by peer pressure as well. My friends have been begging me to start it, so I've started it officially with Hoppers, and I think I did give it. Did I give it a 3.5 or a 4 or something like that? Let me just give you the tea. But it was, I would say it was worth it, to be fair, like to watch it in the theater. I think especially in the theater experience was quite impressive. Yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. That's my out of 5. That's my takeaway from it. My one-liner review on Hoppers was Avatar plus Dave Franco plus emotional manipulation equals big sob. Yeah. So get it. Fun times. I definitely enjoyed myself. I would say, like, overall the experience was good. A 3.5 is actually, I would say, a pretty good score for a movie. I wouldn't give it a 4 stars because I do have some quibbles with it, as you've seen, as you've heard from me just now, and I also don't think it sits as among the best Pixar movies. Like, I'm talking about Ratatouille, and I'm talking about WALL-E, or all these, like, those are incredible movies. Like, literally top of the tops, but it's not among the worst ones. So that's that. I did enjoy it. Maybe this also is going to open a new segue, I guess, for Pixar to get inspired by other properties in the Disney empire, to make more movies like that. Like, realistically, like, for example, the Incredibles, for example, has always been a sort of like a franchise, I guess we could call it now, inspired by the Fantastic Four, which is very ironic because, like, they seem to get the Fantastic Four dynamics much better than any Fantastic Four movie we've ever seen. So like that, Pixar is definitely not new to that, but it's definitely a good segue to see where they can go next with it, like which other movies they can sort of take inspiration from and combine to get this, to get a new movie out of under the Pixar umbrella. So definitely, keep an eye out for that. So yeah, I'm excited to see now Toy Story. What is it? Toy Story 5 or 6? Whatever it is, the one against the tablet, the iPad. Toys versus iPad Kids. That's gonna be deadly, man. Anyways, now let's move on to oh my god, I am scared to talk about this movie, not because like there's a massive fan base behind it, but I just don't like being extremely negative about something. But here goes nothing. I just watched Reminders of Him, which is the new Colleen Hoover movie that came out, I believe, this past week. And let me tell you, I mean, I was prepared, of course. I know this is like supposed to be a cheesy rom-com, and in that level, I guess it works. But it's always going to be a cheesy rom-com with questionable morality, I guess, or like questionable characters in general. Like, also the casting on the main actress, I did not like it. I did not care for it. I did not vibe with it. I think she is, don't get me wrong, the girl, she's fine. She's okay. I mean, love her down. I'm sure she loved doing this movie, but I just couldn't see myself. I think her name is Micah Monroe. Yeah, Micah Monroe. She was okay. She could have done. They could have chosen a different actress. I don't think she was visually as stark. Like, she looked very, bland in this movie. I would have gone for something a bit different. And I mean, all rom-coms go back to Twilight necessarily, and that's what I want to say. Like, where are the Bella Swans of this world? We need, if you want to do a cheesy rom-com set in, like the woodlands in America, you need a Bella Swan. You need that, especially if your character is going to be sort of very depressed, very troubled and depressed all the time, like crying and yada, and like trying to, the Bella Swan type of character. She needs to be, I think, more visually captivating, and she was okay, I guess, in this. She wasn't really the best thing that ever happened. Tarek Withers instead. Eat. You better eat. Very cute, very charming. I think also he's a very funny person, and I think sometimes you could see that there was something there, like in the way he was about to portray the character, but it never went there. And I wish it had. I wish he had been more. He could have brought a bit more of himself as the actor, like as a person himself, into this role, because I think this movie could have helped. This movie could have, received some help, I guess, in terms of could have used some comic relief and some humor, let's just say. So I like him, though. I think I want to see more of him. I think he would be great personality. So hopefully get some roles into that department. Then we had, of course, the Queen, Lauren Graham. And she was probably the best actress in this movie, if I have to be honest. She really anchored the emotional scenes quite a lot. Like, she was really, really taking it home. Like, I think the only times where I actually felt emotions and sadness and whatever was with her. Like, that was just, she was really, really good in the role. So, she's playing well, let's just go through the plot very elusively, I guess. This girl, Kenna, comes back to this very small town in the US after being in prison. For what exactly? Well, she was involved in the death of her ex-boyfriend, or supposedly soon to be fiance, whatever. There are many questions about this, but the main thing here is that she had a baby, and the father was his ex boyfriend, but the baby was born after his death. Anyways, by a series of things, she gets painted to be this horrible person. She gets this bad rap, and when she gets out of prison, for whatever reason, she decides to move back to that town. And we don't know anything about her. We don't know about her parents. We don't know anything about that. We don't know even if it's her hometown or whatever. I don't know. We don't know anything about that, which I think would have helped quite a lot, if I have to be honest. I would have liked to know more about her rather than her through just the crazy girlfriend. Not the crazy girlfriend, like the one that was framed as the crazy girlfriend, I guess. And so, with the sole purpose of reconnecting with her daughter, who doesn't know her, of course. She's 5 years old or something like that, and has been growing up under her grandparents' supervision, I guess. And the grandparents in question are the ex-boyfriend's parents. Yeah. So yeah. Very funny. Very, very funny. To make it even more interesting, like, if I were her, I don't know, why wouldn't you just, like, I don't know, write to the grandparents and say, hey, can we talk before, I really would like to explain how things went, yada yada yada. I don't know, like, it was just, ridiculous, all that stuff. I just wanted to reconnect with my daughter, and yada yada yada. No, like, instead she tries to actually show up at their house or something and go straight to see her daughter. Not the greatest strategy. Anyways, whatever. In the midst of all this, she falls in love with her ex-boyfriend's best friend, who, in this whole situation, for whatever reason, because he was busy with the NFL or whatever, he never met her. Which is, to me, still crazy to believe, because how are you best friends and you haven't even seen a picture of this girl? Like, I understand not being around while they were dating and when the accident happened, but if you are best friends, I'm sure he would have shown you a picture of her. Whatever. So at first, he doesn't realize that it's her, but then he finds out that it's her, and even then, they still, proceed with eventually getting into a relationship. Which to me is insane as well, because why? Also, they look so similar in terms of types of guys that they are. They are literally the same type of person, ex-boyfriend and him. And I'm not saying that these things don't happen in real life. They can. But realistically, I'm like, this is so messy. Because also, in the meantime, this best friend of the ex-boyfriend who died, who lives literally across the road, like literally they're neighbors with the grandparents and all that stuff, and the kid, he somehow sort of becomes a surrogate son for the two for the couple, basically, and also sort of like a surrogate father for the kid, which is crazy. I mean, he's technically, I don't know. He also has a mom, apparently, who lives in Florida, but we don't know much about her. But he lives somehow still in the house there, because he says he feels guilty for not being around and all that stuff. Yada yada yada. I don't know. I feel like the plot is just like so morally weird that I'm like, I don't know. Like, just don't. How about, the golden rule about don't date in your friend group? And I don't care that your ex-boyfriend died. Just don't do it. Like, there are so many, morally wrong things here happening. And also, I mean, they sort of set up the grandparents of the kid to be some sort of, like, bigger opposition here. Like, sort of, not saying that they're the villains. They're not portrayed as such. But they are, like, portrayed as the biggest obstacle here. And you know what? Rightfully fucking so, because I wouldn't, I would be scared. I'll be like, what the fuck is going on here? I mean, I do think it's crazy of them to not even try and understand what happened there, but also, how has the police framed her? Like, for what? How has she been 7 years in prison? When she recounts the accident, or whatever happens there, it's pretty clear to me that, yeah, and also she has evidence for this. Like she's the only witness here. It's herself. So whatever goes in this, like I don't understand why the judge didn't believe her or something. There's nothing. They don't explore that at all. I just don't get it. They sort of make it seem at the beginning that these grandparents, the parents of her ex-boyfriend, sort of like campaigned against her, like tried to press charges against her, or like were responsible for putting her in prison or something. I don't know. There's some sort of area like that, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is insane. Yeah, I think there was a lot going on, and I do understand that these two people fell in love, like or at least they became interested in each other on first glances without knowing who they were, respectively. But literally in the span of 5 minutes, they found out who they are, and that would have been enough reason for me to be like, nah, never mind. Like, this is too much. This is too close to home. I don't think this is appropriate. Like, please, enough. And it doesn't really help that the plot, like, at a certain point becomes like, you know, pretty cliche, pretty predictable. There's nothing too crazy going on. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know even if like more than being utterly bad, which sometimes is better than anything, the movie's just flat. It's just boring. I don't know. Like, it's just that. Like, I feel like they could have done so many more things with this. They could have played into so many different elements. They could have fleshed out more of her character, I think, most of all. Like, her character is barely, like, you know, explored. Aside from, you know, the ex-boy, like, she's caged into this whole situation, and I guess you could say that's the whole point of the movie, that she has to, like, you know, free herself up from this past. But even when she does, you don't really learn much about her. Like, she everything that you learn about her is in function of the incident or whatever happened with her ex-boyfriend. Like, I don't know. I feel like I enjoyed it for what it is, for like a cheesy cheesy rom-com elements are definitely there. So definitely, if you want to see something like that, this is the movie for you. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of eye candy. There's definitely a lot of that. There's funny moments, I guess, in there. But yeah, I wish we had a bit more of that, like a bit more exploration of the characters, a bit more some more interesting elements in the plot to make it a bit more interesting and intriguing and new. Where are the vampires? Bring back the vampires, please. Like, just give us something different, man. Like, please. That's the thing. Like, I'm sorry, Bella Swan, for how many people like to trash on her, at least she did have a fully fleshed type of character out of this. Like, we know literally nothing about this girl, apart from the fact that she was in this massive thing. Like, I'm sorry, I want to know more about her before how can I care about her if I don't know anything about her, you know? Yeah, just not it. Like, I don't know. I thought it was fun for just like a rom-com situation. Like, it's cheesy, it's cool to just like put it like that, but I wouldn't watch it again. That's my takeaway. And my review on Letterboxd was as follows. I gave it 2 stars, by the way, out of 5. And I wrote, reminders of him is yet another reminder of why you should never date within your friend group, even if your ex died. And that's pretty much it. That's how I would like to leave it at. So we'll move on to the sponsor, and then stay tuned for songs of the week, because we have, again, quite a few things to talk about. See you very, very soon. Very soon, very soon, very soon. Okay, so we spent a whole episode about what we could do to fix certain movies, but how about we talk about what we could do to just better our own daily functions as a human being? I need to put you on to something that I've been looking into recently, Mantra Matcha, coming back again to sponsor this podcast episode. If you're someone who wants energy but doesn't want that chaotic coffee crash later in the day, this is honestly a really interesting alternative. Mantra Matcha makes super premium ceremonial matcha sourced from Uji, Japan, which is basically the gold standard for matcha. It's made from the youngest tea leaf, stone ground, and it has the really smooth, naturally sweet flavor instead of the bitter taste people sometimes associate with the green tea. What I think is cool though is that they also make superfood infused matcha blends. So things like banana cacao matcha, strawberry lemon matcha, cinnamon goji berries, and a few others. They mix the matcha with ingredients like cacao, ginger, turmeric, and goji berries, so you're getting the matcha benefits plus extra nutrients and flavors. Matcha is also packed with antioxidants, actually way more than regular green tea, and it gives you steady energy and focus without the jitters, which is why so many people usually end up swapping coffee for matcha. Another thing that I really, really enjoy about this specific brand is that it's organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and has zero added sugars. So it fits into pretty much any clean diet, and you can drink it hot, iced, or even blended into some smoothies if that is your actual vibe as well. A nice bonus as well, every box sold helps provide meals for children in need through the No Kid Hungry program, which is honestly a great initiative. So if you want to try it, I've got the highest exclusive discount they offer for my listeners, which is 15% off anything on the site. Just go to mantramatcha.com, that's mantramatcha.com, and use my code oversharepamphlet at checkout. And just for transparency, I do earn a small commission if you use the code. So you're also supporting the podcast while trying to get your caffeine addiction under control. So if you're looking for a cleaner energy boost or just want to upgrade your morning routine, check out Mantra Matcha at mantramatcha.com. Thank you, Mantra Matcha, for sponsoring us. Right, so we are finally onto the Songs of the Week section, and we have quite a few tracks to go through. You can find the songs that I'm talking about in this episode in my playlist of the month. So if you just search on Spotify, the Overture Pamphlet Songs of the Week, March 2026, you will find all the songs I've talked about in this month. So first song that I want to discuss here is Catch Catch by Lena. And girl, this is such a hit. Lena did something very, very smart here, and she is literally reviving second gen like musical taste, I guess, in a way. She's really pulling from the Orange Caramel like repertoire here, not simply in terms of sound but also in terms of like music video, the funny, quirky, completely unrelated to the song music video, the very catchy dance, very, very, very catchy choruses, and the production here is just incredible. It also sounds a lot like J-pop for whatever reason, just like something that the Japanese idol would do. Is just so infectious, very fast-paced beat as well, so good. If you like something like that, if you are an enjoyer of second gen music, this is for you. Like, this is so good. I really, really recommend. And Lena, you know, I never had any doubt. Like, she just is. Every time she releases something, she is basically proof that her personality not only is like, of course, very infectious in person and like as a person in, you know, interviews and all that stuff, but she can manage to just as much as interviews, she can also do that in songs. She can permeate basically even the songs, and this song is her like to a T. It's incredible. Then I want to talk about "I'll Change for You" by Mitski. And this song is from her latest album. The song itself is just like a juxtaposition, basically, of a feel-good bossa nova reminiscent beat with heart-wrenching lyrics. It does feel to me like a bit of a jazzy number here, very, very cool, and this could easily fit production-wise into like a Clairo album as well, I would say, which is partially also why I really, really enjoy this. The song is about yearning for a loved one's affection to return. The contrast between like that beat melody and the melancholic lyrics though are typically very, very Mitski, which is really, really unique of her. So yeah, I would definitely recommend. Like, it's such a good song that you could just easily, you could either really pay attention to it and really get into the meaning of the lyrics, or you can just like let it play in the background and just enjoy the beat. And you know, this is her attempt at writing something about, like, being herself being like pathetic. Basically, she wanted to capture desperation and irrational actions that can follow a breakup, like begging an ex to take you back. The song's lyrics are basically about this vulnerability and making it a standout track, I think, on the album here. And then I have a French song, which very much pulls from, I would say, the somber of it all. It's very, very cool. Very 70s, 80s, basically, in production as well. Very, very cool, catchy chorus as well. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely, like, very energetic in rhythm, and just very, very good in terms of spontaneity, and like, it is about like a spontaneous romantic encounter, basically, and the feeling that you get from that. Very, very cool song, very catchy. Really recommend. And then to close off this playlist, well, not the playlist, we still have another couple of episodes to go, but the section, I guess, we have Fake Denim by Dorian Electra. And here Dorian Electra teams up with a legend, Boys Noise, who has worked in the early 2000s with people like Lady Gaga and Skrillex. And you can really tell the production of this, that's the very Lady Gaga inspired performance, even down to the visuals of her. She's very Fame Monster coded. This collaboration brings a very fresh and, edgy song, like very hyper pop song, to Electra's unique style. And of course, Boys Noise is very famous for its electronic beats, and this is definitely nothing short of that. Fake Denim itself, the concept of the song, I guess, is like very playful. It's a jab at like obsession with authenticity in the fashion and industry in general, but also like just in general identity and pop culture. The song uses like fake denim as a metaphor for the blurred lines between real and fake in today's culture. It's like a cheeky number that reminds people sometimes that fake stuff can be just as revealing as the real deal, and it's just very infectious beat and very, very cool performance. So I definitely recommend listening to these songs. If you want to, you can just, of course, go there and listen to the playlist. It's also so nice to just go back every now and then to past months and see what what's going on before this. So very cool stuff. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this is all for today's episode. Catch you in the next one. Have a good week, guys, and go watch some movies. Open a letterbox. Just do it. You're not gonna regret it. I can guarantee that, at least. Bye.